Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Material Delivery in the self subreddit. The post is titled, "I leave on a trip and my GF dates another guy. Then she dumped me because I opened up emotionally 8 months ago. The night before I left for a week-long trip to help at a youth summer camp, my girlfriend called me and said we needed to take a break. I was very surprised, but I told her I was listening and that we should have a serious conversation about this when I got back in a week. She agreed, but said we should not contact each other during the week. I found this strange but agreed to it. It would have been hard to contact her anyway, as I would have poor cell service and would be very busy. After I got back, she broke up with me instead of having the conversation we had agreed to. I was left so confused and unresolved that I ended up guessing her Discord password and read messages between her and her friends saying she went on a date with her lab partner while I was gone. She also lied to her friends saying that we had already broken up. She told her friends not to tell me even though her friends thought we had already broken up. She explained to them how 8 months earlier I had opened up emotionally, crying and explaining how I was depressed, etc. She said it was an awful experience. She even linked this Reddit post in her girls' Discord asking, "Is this me?" And her friends replied, "Of course not," etc. They then proceeded to convince her she needed to break up with me instead of talking to me. I spent the whole week thinking about what we were going to discuss, but we never even got to have the conversation. I'm so confused. How did our 3-year relationship end just because I left for a week? The reason she gave for breaking up with me is that I am emotionally unavailable. This is not entirely false. Emotional openness is certainly not one of my strengths, but we had talked about this many times before, and I felt like I was making progress, but who cares? Our relationship of 3 years is gone for a reason that doesn't seem to make sense. We planned our engagement and getting married. We talked about where we could live together and both go to graduate school, finances, and so on. I am going to tear myself apart thinking about what could have happened the week I was gone to cause all of this. I desperately want to understand and for her to be honest, but I know I can't force it. I agree with her that our emotional relationship was far from perfect, but why wouldn't she want to talk about it before making such an impetuous decision? If she had moved across the world, then I would be able to move on, but so much of our lives were intertwined. I will see her every week at church, and our friend groups are the same, so I will see her constantly. I just want to have some closure and understanding, but she doesn't even want to talk to me. Sorry for the rant. I don't know what to do. Update. I am very well aware that this is going to sound unbelievable. A few weeks ago, my ex-girlfriend texted my parents explaining that a close friend of hers had died in a climbing accident. My parents asked for this person's name to see if they knew him, and it quickly became clear that it was the man she cheated on me with who had died. She said she wanted some prayer and didn't know who to talk to. Obviously, it's really strange for my ex-girlfriend to be contacting my parents. My dad's first reaction was to question whether what she was saying was even true. Shortly after, an article appeared confirming that what she said was true. A few days later, she reached out to me and asked if we could talk. I agreed. We ended up having a phone call for about 2.5 hours, and I think overall it was quite fruitful and cathartic. However, I held back a lot of what I wanted to say because she was grieving what is objectively a tragedy. Obviously, I am hurt beyond words that she would go behind my back in such a manner, and I really wanted to tell her honestly how this betrayal had impacted me, but I didn't because I felt it would be too much given the already heavy nature of our conversation. She gave me a really sincere apology for the date she went on, and it meant a lot to me that she did. She also told me that they continued to see each other. I found this heartbreaking and confusing, and what I neglected to say, however, is that it seems her continuing to see him after we broke up undermines her apology. Is this interpretation accurate? How could she be so deeply sorry that she cheated on me, yet continue to see this man afterwards? Today was our anniversary. I have not known such a deep and profound betrayal from a person I loved so much. I hope I can learn to love again one day. Night Tarot said, yeah, double standards about emotional availability, how incredibly rich. While I do feel bad that the man actually died, I really don't feel any sympathy for her grief over his death. I don't think I could be the bigger person and support her, knowing the underhanded tactics she used to get herself into that situation. If I were OP, I'd sooner go 1,000 miles to support the dead man's family than show her an ounce of help. Radical Snow Dude said, "There is no way that call should ever have lasted 2.5 hours. To this comment, user The Box said, "Right. But to be fair, love makes you do some very out of character things. My first love cheated on me and started dating the man she cheated on me with when I was 19. But we still had hour-long conversations on the phone every now and then for about 6 months after she cheated. I am 31 now and I cringe at that and am so confused as to why I even allowed that kind of abuse to happen to me." Broken Soul 696 said, "Dump OP because he is not emotionally available, but dislike it when he shows emotions that are not happiness or affection. I have been there before. It sucks so much. What she really wanted was for him to be there for her without having to be there for him." The second post was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Cherry Coca-Cola. The post is titled, "I refuse to go to my best guy friend's wedding. I told my parents I'm cutting them off too. I grew up with my family and another family whose parents have been best friends with mine since high school. My parents had me, F28, and my 2 older brothers, M31 and M35, while their friends had 4 boys. Growing up was pretty nice, but the boys used to pick on me a lot and exclude me during their girls are yucky phase. I wouldn't say I see these boys as brothers, but maybe as cousins. I was close to the 27 and 29-year-olds when we were little. I will call them Adam and Jake. Until we were 15, we were really close and did a lot together. I don't talk to Jake much anymore, no hard feelings, but he grew up to be a classic tech bro and can be pretty condescending. However, our families are obsessed with the idea of us ending up together. The other guys are already married and Adam is gay. They've always pushed for us to be together, making us go to the store alone at Christmas, telling us both to meet earlier at the restaurant for Dad's birthday, talking him up a lot, etc. Then both Jake and I met our significant others. I have been with my fiance for 5 years and Jake met his fiance 3 years ago. Our families have been very disappointed and have not welcomed our significant others warmly. One Christmas, I took Jake's fiancée Tracy aside and explained the weird family lore to her. With Jake, we assured her that it was just a strange family thing and that Jake and I have not been close for ages and have never had more than a friendly relationship. Ironically, having to stand against our parents made us all a little closer. But here comes the problem. Jake and Tracy are going to get married soon and it has been chaos. Our parents have increased their antics by 2,000%. Family dinners are full of comments like, we thought you two would get married. They brought out a picture I apparently drew of Jake and me when we were little, showing us getting married. They cornered Tracy about making me the matron of honor and letting me wear white. Also, his brothers and my brothers joined in, making jokes about us being star-crossed lovers and calling me the missus. I distanced myself heavily from my family during that time and stopped going home after talking to them did nothing. One day, one of my brothers invited me out. He said it would be just my 2 brothers and me, so I went to his apartment and when I arrived, it was Jake's bachelor party. One of his brothers screamed out that the stripper was here. I wanted to leave, but the next train left close to midnight, and it was not the safest neighborhood, so I stayed. They tried to make me drunk, were constantly physically pushing Jake and me together, and even locked us in my brother's bedroom. I could hear loud laughing from the other side. Jake and I did not talk much. He apologized to me and asked if I could not come to the wedding as I made Tracy uncomfortable. I completely understood and said at that point I was not planning to go anymore. He offered to drive me home as he was also completely sober. When they opened the door, he said we were going home. In their heads, that meant we were going to be intimate or something because all the caveman sounds started. The next day, my phone was blowing up. Someone uploaded a video of Jake and me leaving, captioned, "Finally." It was very awkward. I was clearly uncomfortable, and so was Jake as we exited the apartment and entered his car. There were comments, calls, and texts. Tracy called me crying and cursing me out. Jake called me apologizing and telling me he tried to explain. My mother and his mother sent me a bunch of texts saying how proud they were and that it was about time. My fiance is understanding, but he wants me to make clearer boundaries with my family. I drove past their house and they were all there. They didn't even let me talk and were just love bombing me. I started screaming and told them Jake and I have never and will never be together and that I will not be leaving my loving fiance. I said I would not be going to Jake's wedding, and if they kept up with this, I would cut every single one of them off because I am tired and just want to live my life and not their incest fairy tale. By the end of my meltdown, my mother and his mother were crying and my father just told me to get out. Since then, I have been getting messages from my brothers calling me a bitch for treating my family like that because they only wanted the best for me. So am I the asshole? Edit. No, Uber was not an option. Taxis and Ubers are ungodly expensive here. Thus, I took the freaking train. Also, no, we don't have a car. Tracy was away and my fiance had a night shift. Update. First of all, thank you all for your insight, especially those of you who reached out in the comments and privately with similar stories. I honestly thought my family was the only demented one, but apparently it is a trend. Now, for the real update, my fiance and I spoke and concluded that cutting out my family for now would be the best option. I sent a message to my parents and brothers explaining my decision to distance myself for the time being. I emphasized that while I love them, I cannot continue to endure their pressure and manipulation. I told them their behavior had made me resent them and, to some extent, Jake. They ruined any friendly relationship we could have had and made me feel gross and exploited. I told them they were setting me up to be sexually assaulted if it had been anyone else but Jake. I also told them that their controlling behavior was the reason I never told them about anything in my life. I told them it hurts to be with them and I am in a bad mood for days after meeting them. I never look forward to holidays with them and have caught myself wishing I would get into an accident or get sick before the holidays to have an excuse not to go. They have cut themselves out of my life, and they will not be there when I get married, have children, or experience any other life achievements. After sending the message, I left the group, blocked them all, and felt really light. I cried with my fiance for hours, and I did not really know if it was tears of sadness, relief, or happiness. I was so conflicted, I just kind of fell asleep. Jake has also cut his part of the family off. According to Tracy, he just went to their home, dumped a sack of their stuff on the table, told them to stay the fuck away from him, and left. His mother tried reaching out to me, and my father tried reaching out to Jake. Our fiancés had been targeted by them too. My parents sent the police to my house claiming my fiancé had me there against my will. We talked to the police. They could not do much but assured me that they would leave a note in their database clarifying that I am not being abused. I also asked how to go about a no contact order and they pointed me to resources. They also said they would tell my parents to leave me alone and noted that should they make false reports, they would have to cover the cost of the drive out to me. As of Friday, we have different numbers. Tracy is coming over this afternoon and I am taking her to my nail salon, and afterward we are going to a game store because she really wants to play some escape games. Jake and I are still not close, and he is also not close to my fiance, but he is happy that we have carved out a healthy space and that Tracy is so comfortable with me now in such a short span of time. They are re-evaluating their wedding plans, but I will not disclose more here. Also, to the people who made fun of me for saying that I could not drive anywhere without a car, I have a bike. Anyway, that was it. It was only a week and I do not see this going much further. My parents are probably going to keep contacting me, but it is going to be alright. We are all alright. Edit. Thank you for so many well wishes. It has been really nice to read through all these comments. Just one thing, do not give me legal advice. Remember that we are most likely in a different country, and our laws and procedures probably do not apply to the ones you know. For example, the camera thing to have as evidence is a nice sentiment, but in Germany it is difficult. We have super strict data protection laws that make things like a Ring camera unviable, or a restraining order. The process here is not only to ask and get it, but you can be well assured that I am looking into all viable options and am getting some legal advice from lawyers in my area. 27 said, the shiver of disgust that ran down my spine when I heard that her own brothers were cheering for her to have sex. Absolutely sick. Prancing Red Pony said, that is when people develop fixed ideas and group dynamics escalate into cult-like behavior. Those people will never get out of it unless something drastic happens. And if you look into small cult behavior and family cults, you get an idea of the scope of drastic measures that are needed. It is absolutely insane what cult-like family echo chambers can excuse as normal or caring behavior. This final post was made in the relationship advice subreddit by a user named Frankensmell93. The post is titled, "My sister-in-law is controlling and manipulative. She wants to reconcile with me, but I am so much happier without her. My brother Steven and my now sister-in-law Nicole have 2 children. They have been together since they were 18 when Nicole became pregnant with my niece. Nicole is extremely controlling and manipulative. She has never liked me, but we have gone back and forth trying to be cordial for the sake of the family. However, everything came to a head in January, a month before my wedding, when she texted me during my bachelorette party to say she would not be coming to my wedding because I did not invite her to the bachelorette. This was baffling to me, as we have never been close, and she would not have attended anyway since she does not know any of my friends. From the beginning, I had a feeling she would find a way out. She is the type of person who tries to avoid situations that make her uncomfortable. However, my niece was supposed to be my flower girl, so I hoped Nicole would not back out. I was obviously upset when she sent that text. I tried contacting my brother, but she controls his phone when she's home, so he never responds. I tried multiple times to reach him while he was at work, but got no reply. While I love my brother, he is completely controlled by her, and I am hurt that he could not stand up to her for one day to attend my wedding. Since then, I have completely cut contact with them. My mental health has improved so much without the drama they bring. Still, I miss my nieces deeply. Recently, Steven told my dad that Nicole is ready to make up if OP is. I am conflicted because even when things are okay, I always feel like I am walking on eggshells with Nicole. I do not want my nieces to forget me, but how can I maintain a relationship with them without sacrificing my own sanity? Do I open myself up to emotional turmoil just to have a relationship with my nieces, or do I hope that one day they will grow up and understand that I had my reasons? There is so much more to Nicole's behavior, but I just wanted to include the most recent event that has affected our relationship. Oaken Axe said, "I had a bad experience with my mother-in-law and my wife and I agreed we were better off without her. You could set ground rules and meet at your parents', but if you are leaning towards staying no contact, trust your own feelings. Your brother seems to take and will take her side. What was your parents' view on your brother not attending your wedding? I can understand her not going, but him choosing to stay home is not normal. Lots of people attend weddings without their significant other." To this, OP said, "You're right. My gut is telling me to stay far away because it is only a matter of time before she gets mad about something else. They were very hurt by it, and it was then that they stopped trying to get us to get along. They respect that I do not want anything to do with her. To be honest, they only tolerate her because of the girls. Thank you for your response." Beaches1990 said, "A lot, and I mean a lot of people, especially women, use their children as pawns for threats. Honestly, I am so sorry for you. I also have a brother, and if he married someone difficult, it would break my heart. That being said, how much disrespect are you willing to put up with just to see someone's children? My answer is not much, but it is a personal decision you should make. Many people tolerate terrible behavior from some parents for the sake of seeing their children. In my opinion, that is pretty sick and not something I would put up with. Allowing someone to manipulate you with their children will very likely lead to unhappy memories on your special day. Whatever you decide, best of luck. Family matters are always tough." To this, OP said, "I really needed to hear this. You are right. The peace that I have without her in my life is too great to give up. Thank you for your thoughtful response." Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.